VC, how are we? Thanks for joining me again. Station Vinyl Boy Trigger. Just going to get straight into it because super busy. What month we've just been through? March. Bit over the top. Not over the top. Just been super busy and just had some opportunities where, you know, may never arise again, so just got to go for it. So next month, a couple of months should be a bit quieter, though I'm going to a record fair hopefully in a couple of weeks, the Glebe Record Fair in Sydney, which is probably Australia's biggest record fair. Probably only get a couple of hours there really, which that's all the time I got really, but yeah, super busy March. So I'll try and get through them without being too long a video, and I've got some unbelievable VCLT. Alright, so let's just kick in. So I tried to organise them a little bit from different stores. So they're basically from stores. I don't think there's any from charity stores. So record stores. There was an ad I answered on like a website, and record stores and stuff, which I already said. Different record stores. Okay. Alright, so this is from some record stores in Sydney. So that one's a bit out of whack, anyway. We'll get there. I've actually, don't want to talk too much because I've got a lot to get through, but I've had a big sort of change, not big change, but I've had a big clean out of records. So I've had probably 200 records just sitting in a pile, two piles that are just very mediocre records that I've probably collected since I started collecting a few years ago now, when I was just buying anything and everything. A lot of those were 10 cents each. I did try and sell them, but no one really wanted them. They were pretty average, so back to the charity stores they went. So that was good. Also, and then I started going through my collection, because I had about a group of like 20, 30 albums where, you know, I wasn't that keen, wasn't that fond of really. So, you know, why keep them in your collection? You know, you can make room, which is great, and you can have stuff that you're really going to listen to. So had about 20 or 30, and then I added another, say, 20 or 30 in there, just going through my collection. So took those in for a trade-in, and I got a pretty good price, more than I expected, so I was happy with that. So pretty much sort of shopping for free, but not really. But yeah, so probably had a bit of an outflux of 300 records or something, so that's okay, a little bit comes back in. Alright, so this is from a record store in Sydney, the Atlantics. Does it say that anywhere? Oh, down here. The Atlantics. These are an Australian instrumental band. I think this came out in the 60s something. So a lot of bands, Australian bands, so surf rock, instrumental. This is in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Where a lot of bands are sort of covering the Shadows and Venturers. Well, these guys actually wrote their own stuff, so this is something I've been after for quite a while. And Bombora, it's called. That was the opening track, probably most famous. So yeah. Okay, so actually, these guys are actually from where I grew up in Sydney South, and the beaches down there, off Cronulla Point. That's didn't know that actually. So this photo is off a place called Cronulla Point, which I have actually surfed out there on a boogie board. It was not pretty. I don't think I caught a wave. Anyway, I tried. So anyway, so yeah, happy to get that. That was $5. So this first batch, I'll tell you, is from my. So I traded in those 40, 50 albums, got $90 back. I was actually expecting him to say, I'll give you $50. I was happy if he went for 60. He said 90, so cool. So pretty much these are all from there. This is an interesting one. So Camel's a band you don't hear. Or was it that side? Camel's a band you don't really hear mentioned much in the VC. A great progressive rock band. I think they're English. This is a really nice album. So a lot of these I took my time, had some credit in their shop, and I took my time, put them on the turntable. This is a really nice, soft, interesting story. I only listened to one side of this so far, but it's of a Japanese soldier who is in the war, World War II, and then somehow everyone on the island dies, or must have been a super soldier or something, and he's stuck on this island, and he doesn't know. He thinks the war's still going, but the war's over. So he does get found. I'm not sure how long later, but it's really, really interesting and really nice liner notes here. There's something really interesting and emotive sort of stuff. So really interesting stuff. So Camel's great band, and this one's called Nude Camel, and it's just about his trials and tribulations of getting back to society, where he was happy on the island, doing his routine, and it's interesting, really interesting one. Okay, just went for some classic heavy metal. This is, the founding bands of heavy metal, isn't it? And this is classic heavy metal sound. Deep Purple in rock. It's one I've been after for a while. I really dig Deep Purple. Everything I get from them I really love. Excuse me. Yeah, so just classic. So happy to get that. Molly Hatchet. This is something that I've seen shown the VC quite a lot. So I'm going to pick it up. Listen to it. I liked it. It's southern rock, basically. Some heavier moments, but essentially southern rock, and I think they took some influence from Leonard Skinner. So happy with that. They always got, all their albums got really cool artwork, sort of warrior, sort of themes. Another Cold Chisel album that I actually haven't had, and I've been on the search for, Circus Animal, sorry. I've been mentioning cultures a bit more, but Australia's most famous band that never made overseas. Great track listing. You Got Nothing I Want, Forever Now, Bow River, When the War Is Over. The Boys. So I've been actually looking for this one, and great I found it. Where it is in their discography, I can't tell you the truth off the top of my head. Is it their debut? I don't know. I'm going to go on video and say it's debut, but say that very unconvincingly. Okay. And this one's pretty cool too. So this one, no idea what it was. Bad Machine. Rip Your Heart. No idea what it was, and put it on turntable and really digged it. It's just hard rock. Yeah, just hard rock stuff. So I really dig the sound. So a lot of these I haven't listened to once over the last month. So sorry, not very deep explanations, but yeah, this was good if you like rock and hard stuff, and got I think a bit of the southern feel as well. You look at them. But Bad Machine. Put it on and I digged it. And often when you got credits, you often struggle to find what you want. So I was struggling for $10 more to spend, and I couldn't find anything for that price. But then suddenly come across them. Van Morrison's initial band, really, that put him, set him up for illustrious career. So this one's called Rock Roots. Very cool. This actually I didn't know, but in the end it's a compilation. Very cool stuff. For $10, I was really stoked with that. Just Van's voice, obviously still maybe not quite maturing yet, but a bit rawer, but pretty cool. The Northern Ireland group who did a lot of pubs. There was a pub they sort of played at, it might be called Maritime or something like that, were sort of quite famous for that they were playing there, and not really many recordings were taken from there. So this is a bit bluesy, a bit rockabilly, but yeah, very happy to have a bit of them. So a different store in Sydney. Every collection's got to have at least one from this artist, and now mine does. Muddy Waters. My first from Muddy. Saw him there. So that's got to come home with me. $15. Yeah. Just, hello. Just the blues man, you know. So every collection's got to have some money, and mine was lucky because I didn't. Now I've added one in. Now this was a really interesting one. So, $4 for apple jam. Now, wasn't really sure what this was, but obviously I knew it was something to do with the Beatles and George Harrison. And after a bit of research, this is from his All Things Must Pass. It's a 3 box set, LP set. And this is side 5 of 6. This is the 3rd album, which is basically just jams. And really cool jams. So you got Eric Clapton on there, who, everyone knows the story where Eric Clapton helped out George Harrison in All Things Must Pass, and then I'm not sure if he met the other people there, but formed members of Derek and Dominoes, and who released Layla, they're probably the most famous song. So I think part of that group was like Jim Gordon, I think, and Bobby Whitlock. Just some really interesting names here, like this one, Al, just names I just looked up. Al Aronowitz. Probably won't see it there. But anyway, he was, I think, the first manager of Velvet Underground, and they ended up stealing his tape recorder and going with Andy Warhol. There's another guy here, Klaus Vormann, who he was a German artist, musician who ended up living with, I think, George Harrison and Ringo in their apartment in London when John and Paul moved out with their respective partners. And so obviously he had a friendship with them and a connection with them, and he actually, that Klaus Vormann, he actually did the design for the Revolver cover. So yeah, really interesting. That was $4. I was stoked. All Things Must Pass is high on my list. Another thing that was $4, I was absolutely stoked to get. No cover, but Pet Sounds, which I hadn't had Pet Sounds before, and I actually had never listened to that whole thing completely. Shock. This is on the. It's got a few. They got a few pressings of this. This is Brother Records and Reprise Records. This is a mono Canadian version for $4. I was shocked, and I think I sort of said to the guy, "Are you sure?" Ended up making my own sort of pseudo cover. So I think, I pick up records. I pick up records with no covers if they're a great price and it's a quality record. And I'm sort of trying to maybe hone my skills into sort of making them into an actual cover, moderate cover, So yeah, this is great. This has got so many layers. The first time you listen to it, I don't know, if you got to pay it a lot of attention, and there's so much you can miss. And so I've listened to it twice, and each time is, really appreciating what it's about. So, so happy to add Pet Sounds now. This is from different record store up in Newcastle. Early in the month, Zeppelin 3. So I'm starting to find a bit of Zeppelins now. So always had 4. Always had 4 and added 1 recently. Now 3 is in my collection. Unfortunately, it's missing the wheel. Just missing out on 2 to get the first 4. So stoked. Look at that. It's Led Zeppelin. What can you say? Just great tracks. Obviously, Immigrant Song's probably the most famous, made famous again by Thor movies. One of my favourite on this is Since I've Been Leaving, Loving You, which is great, sort of slow sort of song. Let me get that. It's on the. Let me get that. Sorry. and girls. On the manual turntable. Alright, so Zeppelin, cool. And Neil Young, Freedom. This is great. It's probably got my favourite Neil Young song on there. Ooh, it's a big call, but I love Rocking in the Free World. One of my favourite songs in general, basically. Full stop. It's got a live version and a normal version. This is when I think Neil had left Reprise and had about 6 albums with other mobs, and he's back with Reprise here, and this is a great album. 89. So happy to get that. Now, I've answered an ad in the on a site called Gumtree, which I think they're just an Australian site, but basically internet site where they sell everything and anything. And there's also free stuff on there. You just put an ad out there and people answer the call. So it was a lady who had records. She actually wrote down a list of records. That was really nice. And they were $10 each. So I went and saw her and picked up, took $60. Wish I took 70 because I missed out on one that I'm really upset I missed it, but you know, got to move on. So picked up this one. Bloomfield, Hammond, and Dr. John. I hadn't had anything by Dr. John. Just great sessional guitarist. Then moved on to piano. Bloomfield, great guitarist, and Hammond, another great guitarist. So this is blues. This is a great blues album. Bluesy, a little bit of rockish stuff in there, but just really three talented guys who really, there was a lot of fights, angst between them until they really started clicking, because they're such big personalities and they all had their own thoughts and stuff like that, and they weren't really gelling initially, but they put it together, and this is a really nice album. So really happy I saw that, and first album for me to feature Dr. John. Zappa, these are all $10 each. Hot Rats, just amazing musician, and this is pretty much instrumentals. There is some vocals where he's got Captain Beefheart on Willie the Pimp. He's an amazing musician, and he's got Ian Underwood, who's equally amazing. Piano, organist, maximus, flute, all clarinets, and all saxes. It's got all the genres in one. This has got rock, it's got blues, it's got funk, it's got jazz, it's got heavy metal. Don't know, but geez, he just can do all the genres, can't he? Really stoked. Genesis, Wind in the Willows, not Wind in the Willow, Wind and Wotherings. Look, I haven't found the album I can connect with Genesis yet. I know there is at least one, though this is good, but I'm still not quite gel with what I want. I think I really want the early stuff like Selling England by the Pound or Tales or something else it's called, but this is why this is good. Didn't hit me out of the park. Steppenwolf Live, just great rock, blues, you know. Yes, Fragile, lovely, love it, love Yes, great progressive rock, great stuff. Another progressive group, which you don't hear talked about much, I think someone mentioned them, is Curved Air. They're really nice. I think they were sort of one of the pioneers of progressive rock. This is the second album. I did actually find their debut called Air Conditioning, which I think I liked a bit better on CD. This is good. Yeah, so really stoked to get them and learn a bit more about Curved Air. So if you like progressive rock, check out Curved Air. I think go Air Conditioning first. Then A Different Day, different record store. Yeah, so Patti Smith, another first in my collection. Patti Smith group. She is a super talented woman, isn't she? I mean, she's a poet. She's fought for human rights. You know, she's an activist for, you know, fighting for what she thought was good, the good of the human race. Sort of punk rocker around in that sort of mid-70s New York scene. This is her second album. Probably her first album, Horses, is most acclaimed. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I was trying to think. I was listening to this morning. I was trying to work out how to describe it. And I just call it a bit mental. It's, I think it's an album you got to listen to at least once in your life. Or you can't listen to it once. You got to listen to it a couple of times. It's just she's got a very punkish vocals, and the background is rock and heavy rock and sort of. But there's lots of noises come out of her, and sometimes gets smothered by the instruments, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was critically acclaimed, this, but I think it's great. I really dig it. For $8, I was so happy to get Patti Smith Group. She inspired so many great bands, like REM. Michael Stipe was a massive fan of her. Who else? There was people like U2. There was the Waterboys, Courtney Hull, Courtney Love. Yeah, a lot of musicians really were inspired by Patti Smith. Really cool stuff. You got to get some Patti Smith. It's sort of punk rock, art rock sort of sounds, but she's pretty deep. I think she's got some deep messages in there. I've been looking for this one for a little while, related to Cold Chisel, Ian Moss. He was the guitarist of Cold Chisel, and he's a great guitarist. I did see Cold Chisel a year or two ago, and Jimmy Barnes is a legend, but his voice, you can't sustain that for so many years. That's why he's singing a bit more soul stuff now. But man, he's a great guitarist, and I mean, famous songs out of this growing up. Remember, it was Tucker's Daughter, Telephone Booth, and Out of the Fire. A lot of these songs, he actually has members of Cold Chisel there. Don Walker, Steve Presswich. Don Walker was pretty much the chief songwriter in Cold Chisel, and he's written a lot of songs on this. Getting pretty long video, but will I keep going? Okay, keep going. AC/DC, Fly on the Wall. So happy to add another AC/DC to my collection. I think it's about $24. First album with Simon White on it, as Phil Rudd left. He's only 19, I think, when he signed. Did 3 albums. Not their best, but still good, and happy to get that. AC/DC is so bloody hard to find in Australia. It's crazy. Jackson's Destiny. Cool. Remember listening to this growing up? Yeah. Aussie rock band. I've shown it before. Choir Boys. This is another of their albums. Most famous song, Run to Paradise. Check out Choir Boys if you like sort of hard rock, pop, so between pop rock and hard rock. Choir Boys, Run to Paradise. I'm just going to fly through these because I don't want to get too long. This is an antique store who went to, where I've talked about it before, where whatever's priced in the albums is not what you pay at the cash register, and in the end I got all these for $5 each. This one's Stevie Wonder, Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants, and it's a bit trippy. It's a very different sort of Stevie Wonder album. Yeah, it's cool. Let's put that there. Been after this one for quite a while. Classic B-52s. They're just classic, fun, rockin' sort of art deco sort of band, aren't they? Just, Rock Lobster's the biggest song on this, but it's just a great album. I've got the other album, I think it might be before, or this might be the debut. Sorry, I've got all everybody's discography out of whack, but the Red album's a great album too. Just fun. This is great. Rose Tattoos. So stoked to get this. Aussie hard rock band from the 70s. Produced by Vander and Young, the same as AC/DC. Same label as AC/DC. Yeah, these guys are just rockers. This is their debut album, and that's a rock band for you. Angry Anderson, who's on, he had a bit of did some movies and a TV personality now. He was on Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and He actually wrote the song for when he's got a softer side to him. He wrote the song where Kylie and Jason walked down the aisle, Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan of Neighbours, and he wrote the song. It's called Suddenly. Betty Boo. This just looked interesting. It's just a 2 songs EP, I guess, and not that great actually, but I thought it'd be more fun. But Betty Boo did that great song, Groovers in the Heart. Bit of Bowie, you're not gonna knock back Bowie for $5, so Let's Dance. You know, he's 80s. This is pop stuff, isn't it? Really, he's 80s pop stuff. You know, first 3 songs, Modern Girl, China Love, and Let's Dance, are the biggest ones. The other ones I didn't mind, Criminal World and Cat People. You know, I like David Bowie. I don't go actively go and seek him, but if I find him, I'll pick him up if he's a reasonable price. Queen, I haven't got a lot of Queen, so stoked to get this one. Not at the Opera. This is cool. It's a little bit different, isn't it, of the Queen repertoire, but it's good. I like it. Cockney Rebel. This was a blind buy, but you know, that's a pretty cool cover. The Psychomodo. These are progressive, psychedelic sort of. I think they're more progressive rock, but there's definitely a bit of psychedelia in there. EMI. So stoked with that. And Bullet. This is a blind buy. I haven't listened to this one yet. I think it's a bit of a heavy metal. Bullet, No Mercy. I'm not sure if Bullet's the. I think it's the name of the band. Could be the other way around. And a bit of BG's. Trafalgar. Alright, so I've been busy. Now, some VCLT from the one and only Grandma's Handbag. Dean, you know, everyone knows and loves Dean. If I could leave a link, I would, but I don't. But Grandma's Handbag, if you don't subscribe to him, check him out. I did drop off a package to him. I know it sounds a bit sus, but I dropped off Andy's comic and poster. So as us VC members, we're exchanging parcels, probably more than the Mexican cartel. And he gave me a parcel. I said, no, but he said, you're taking it. Anyway, I took it and checked it out a few hours later when I could. And oh my God, he got me probably my biggest grail. It's actually from the antique store that I went to. I told Dean about it, and he went there, and he found this there. So it's interesting. I probably went past this a few times, and it doesn't have the front cover, so I'll be doing another one of my little mix things. But it's the Sunny Boys debut album. So when I opened it up, I wasn't quite sure what this was, and I turned it around, and I said, I know those names, and oh my God, I just screamed, yeah. So, Sunny Boys, I've got the Sunny Boys debut album, which I've been after for probably 2-3 years. Just love it. It's power pop, post-punk. It's just great. I'll do a video on these guys one day soon. So stoked. Thank you, Dean. I did call him and say, you're in trouble, mate. It's just way too much. But so stoked. So thank you very much, Dean. Great stuff. Love it. He threw in a couple other things. Threw in a Mental as Anything, another sort of pop, sort of rock, art, sort of funk, sort of rock band, Aussie band. He threw in this one, interesting one, test pressing of another Aussie band called Spy vs Spy, which is a bit of a long lost Aussie rockers, but this is a test pressing. I can't remember exactly which album it was. One I haven't got, but it sounds good, and you know, great stuff. Spy vs Spy. And he threw in his booklet and musical words, so words and music by Don McLean, American Pie. Because I did mention he did a video about funeral songs, and American Pie would be my funeral song. Because I'll probably tell you the story another day, because I've got on way too long. And he threw in some CDs, so some Tool, some Smashing Pumpkins. He threw in Mirrorball, Neil Young with Pearl Jam, some beer drinking songs. I'll have a beer with him and put that on. It's probably got the most unusual song on it. It's called Detachable Penis. Look it up. Where's my glasses? Who sang that? It's just, I remember that growing up, and it's just ridiculous, but funny. Where is it? by King Missile, and it's called Detachable Penis. Look that up. And some more Pearl Jam Alive. So thank you so much, Dean. It was like way too much, and I'm in your debt forever. Okay, so really appreciate it. So I hope everyone's well. Half an hour. Thanks if you're still sticking around, and look after yourselves, and I will catch up with you again soon. Take care.